Hygiene, hygiene, hygiene. It's often said that cleanliness is next to godliness, perhaps because dirt is hazardous to our health. All the more reason for us to imbibe hygienic habits. This keep ailments at bay and is in our best healthy interest. Have you heard of the blue infection? No. Have you heard about cholera? Perhaps you are more conversant with that. Yes, our topic today is cholera. Cholera has reared its ugly head in our nation, Nigeria, in other areas of the African continent and around the world, perhaps because of increased natural disasters. Welcome to Wellness and Living. My name is Thelma Obaze. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. As we are wont to do, we like to go out and listen to your views. We want to hear what you're thinking. Have you heard about cholera? Do you know anyone that's been down with cholera? What are your personal habits? Talking about hygiene. We want to know all this. We asked you about this and lots more. And now we can listen to your answers.
Cholera, I know, is a disease gotten from a very dirty environment. I think it's gotten from dirty water, foods that are not properly prepared and that are exposed.
I see it as a disease, an outbreak disease that is caused by a lack of hygienic environment and water, kind of food you eat.
Well, I don't know much about cholera except from the news and papers. I know cholera comes as a result of bad environment, dirty and all that stuff.
Cholera is trending now because of bad environment, like let me say dirty environment and dirty water and the rest.
It normally gets spread, especially where you expose food. And in an environment that is very unhygienic, you cannot be safe.
You keep yourself safe from dirty things like water. You keep your environment neat and plates. You don't eat with dirty plates or spoons. You make sure you are neat all the time.
You sweep, you make your environment very clean. You make sure your clothes are clean. Your dishes are clean before you eat. You take good and portable drinking water. Even water for bathing has to be a very good one.
To prevent cholera and other diseases, I think it's advisable that we keep a clean environment. We wash our hands before eating, after going to the toilet, and after doing any activity for that day. And then we should make sure we cover our foods well from flies.
Sometimes we buy food from the market and you don't know what process it has gone through, like our meat and the rest. So you don't even know which water they use while washing it in the market. So to be extra careful when you get home, you wash. Like me, I use salt to wash everything I buy from the market before I cook it.
So the only way we can really end that cholera stuff is to always wash our hands before touching anything, food, anything that goes into your mouth. Fruits and the rest, we have to wash it.
The way to prevent it is that you cover all the food items you are using at home, even in your working place. So we cover it that something insect will not affect it. My wife washes all the ingredients before she cook it. Nobody in my family have ever been down with cholera.
People really need to go the extra mile, keep your environment very clean, make sure what you take in, water, food, fruits, is quite healthy, because a healthy Nigerian will be a successful Nigerian. You can't wait for the government to do it for you, you can't wait for the state to do it for you. It begins with you and I. As long as what we eat and drink is healthy, where we live and lay our head is healthy, the environment is healthy, Nigeria will be a better place. And cholera will be a thing of the past.
Feeding people is a very delicate business. Some of us are very picky about what we eat, how we eat it. We're concerned about quality, about taste, sometimes about volume. Our friend on the program today has been doing this for over 17 years. Alhaji, as is fondly called, is focused on three things: quality, hygiene, and more importantly, the fact that the customer is always right. Let's meet him.
Well, catering is a career. I read tourism with Kaduna Polytechnic, Department of Catering and Hotel Management, and catering was a subject in my course. So it's not something in which you've had I just picked this a career. Well, I've been into catering business for quite a long, in fact, almost 15, 17 years. For long, in fact, we knew the issue of hygiene, very, very important when it comes to catering operations. Is something very delicate that we don't need to play with, because anything as such, the consequences will be much. Well, when I come in early in the morning, as early as 7, to prepare my staff for the daily production, I will be there committed till the closing, which is around 10 in the night. And reason why, because you need to be very, very vigilant. This hygiene is very important. So you need to keep your eyes on whatever, the movement of the staff, movement of your raw materials, and then what have you in the kitchen. We consider the environment in which we buy our foodstuff. A filthy environment, we don't go there. We go to the environment in which, in fact, we have good raw materials in which, in fact, are not contaminated. After that, bringing in the foodstuff into your kitchen, first thing we do when it comes into the kitchen is that my staff must wash their hands with a soap before getting in touch with the foodstuff. And then there are certain foodstuff in which we go bleaching. Those we identify that are very, very sensitive when it comes to the issue of contamination. Something like vegetable, something like spinach, we use salt in bleaching it. Something like ugu, water leaf, we use vinegar. Even the meat, in fact, we do look at the environment. You know, there are certain places you go, you buy, you see flies running almost everywhere. I don't do that. I don't buy from such people. And even the staff, while on production, any movement outside the kitchen, you come back, you must wash your hands. Going to the toilet, you come back, you must wash your hands. I'm very cautious. It varies from continental to African. When you talk of African, we have something like beans porridge. We have white rice with stew, which is common to all Nigerians. We have yam porridge. We have moi moi. We have swallows like wheat, tuwo wheat. We have semovita. We have amala. And then we have gari. And then you talk of continental. We have something like jollof rice, fried rice. We have spaghetti. That is what we call rice risotto. And then we have savory potato. Although we do alternate, sometimes we make minced hot pot. In the brief, that's what we do offer in my catering establishment. When you talk about quality production, definitely hygiene must come in. Keeping the environment very clean, giving much attention to your customers, and then giving them value for what they deserve. When people comment on the food I serve, I feel happy. It makes me feel happy. In fact, I feel like, in fact, coming to maybe say to the world that, in fact, I'm the happiest person in the world, because it is issue of food. you produce food in which somebody comes to tell you that I have taken something good. As a caterer, you need to be very cautious, in fact. Because any mistake you do within, in fact, the production, it will cost you a lot. It will cost you a lot to the extent that, in fact, you lose your customers. Some of the customers will come telling you that, in fact, you've given me something bad. As a caterer, one need to take cognizance of health issue, very, very important. Because this health issue will determine your success. The tendency is that you mess up any slight mistake, a customer will come complaining that he has taken something bad, he has running stomach, or he complained that in fact he purged or anything as such. Tendency is that you lose so many of your customers. So that is why, in fact, we give much attention to the health issue, because cholera is within. And we all know that, in fact, cholera has to do with water and even the food we take. We had some discussions, in fact, with some of our guests, some of which mentioned the environment, very clean, good environment. And some of them to the extent that by telling us they realize that, in fact, our hygiene is high. Not to talk about the quality of the food, in which, in fact, there is good taste. So that is why, in fact, you see so many coming back. The ethic of the business is that customer is always right. So with their display, they are right, but the only thing is that as a caterer, you need to display that kind of human relation in which, in fact, will make them feel good.
How you doing now? You have my usual. I always enjoy eating here.
Seriously?
I always come here.
Well, that's true. Their food is very tasty.
Their food is always tasty, and the method of making the food hygienic.
Seriously?
Trust me.
Wow.
It's only here.
And for a long time I've been noticing or suspecting that you
how
like
it
that.
is, how it is.
Cholera has to do with hygiene. Your personal hygiene is critical. Do you wash your hands regularly? How do you keep your utensils that you cook with? What about your food? Do you wash your fruits and vegetables? How do you cook? How do you keep your surroundings? Dr. Rachel is talking to us about this today, and she says, seeking medical attention very promptly when somebody is down with cholera is critical to their survival. Let's listen to her.
Cholera is a bacterial infection that affects the small intestine. It's spread via the fecal-oral route. When I mean fecal-oral route, that's from a contaminated person that is already affected with cholera, then through the food being infected, somebody that is not infected goes to eat that contaminated food and also goes to drink a contaminated water. That is why it's called fecal-oral, because the feces of the contaminated person via the contaminated food, then the contaminated water. That is how it's being spread around. And it presents with dehydration, with diarrhea, profuse watery diarrhea, vomiting, and muscle cramp. Cholera it's something you can just diagnose immediately. That's the color of the stool and the nature of the stool. No other stool comes in rice water color or rice water stew apart from cholera. That is the only sign, first sign you would know that yes, this patient has cholera, that rice water stew. And the patient that has diarrhea too could be bluish, because it's called blue infection. That's another name diarrhea is known for, the blue infection. that's you can see that's the signs of dehydration, because the passage of water is to the patient is losing out lots of electrolytes and fluid. Then the patient becomes so lethargic, the eyes are shrunken. Those are the signs that you know that this patient is suffering from cholera. The eyes are shrunken, the extremities are very cold. The heartbeat is is faster than usual. Then also the patient feels so very weak. Then we could say, okay, fine, this patient needs to seek medical help, because with these are signs, danger signs. There are some risk factors in cholera. For the risk factors, we're talking about poor, when the hygiene is poor, that's poor sanitation, when the environment is not properly kept clean, the water they are using is contaminated, and the environment is dirty, they could catch be infected with cholera. For the management of cholera, the most important thing a medical doctor or anybody should be scared of is the dehydration, which is from the diarrhea the patient is having. The dehydration is, like I classify, it could be mild, it could be severe. For the mild, we would want the patient that before coming down to the hospital to get ORT, that's oral rehydration therapy, because this patient has lost lots of fluid, so we need to replace that fluid being lost. So oral rehydration therapy can be gotten from any pharmacy anywhere to take. Then that's for the mild. Then for the severe, that's when the patient is being brought down. Like I told you, signs of severity of dehydration could be when the patient is losing breath, the eyes are shrunken, then they are cold, clammy extremities. That's when you rush the patient down for medical help. Then we have to place the patient on IV fluid. Then also there is also antimicrobial drugs that we give to the patient, like the doxycycline drug and the fluoroquinolones. We give for a period of 3 to 5 days of treatment. Then also we can give the patient zinc supplements. This helps the stool to be formed, and also prevents infection, and it's an immunity booster. Preventive measures of cholera. Our environment needs to be very clean. We need to learn about proper hand washing. If we don't know how to do hand washing, then we'll be contaminated. Like if you come in contact with a patient with cholera, you must wash your hands with soap. Proper washing with soap or chlorinated water. But since we have chlorinated water, we use soap to wash it very well. Then the clothing and the beddings of this infected person should be properly disinfected and washed properly and spread. And also, we should avoid taking in dirty water. We should look for clean water and available water to take in. And also, we should cook our food very well and our vegetables very well in order to kill the bacteria inside the food. And also, like in the rural areas where there is no potable water, I would advise they keep boiling their water, then the bacteria there would die. Give and take now, we have like 350 million there, but I don't really know the particular figure of it now, but I know it's in town, it's endemic. So now we should just all take caution as if it's just by our doorstep.
Personal hygiene is in our best healthy interest. It's a good habit that we should all imbibe and inculcate in others around us. Okay, we can all agree on that. Now that's taken care of. What about increased mental ability and capability? Take the hygiene on one side. Let's do some exercise on the other. When we combine it together, we have a focused, determined, productive person. It's time to work out. We'd love to have you join us. Let's do it together. Go at it, go at it. Yay! That's our star attraction. Let's go. Go at it, go at it, go at it, go at it, go at it. Yay! Have you learned how to skip? Skipping is a complete exercise. In fact, some call it the body work because it works on the arms. You can see the hands moving. It works on your legs. You are jumping. Okay, it works on the heart. It gets the blood pumping. It's cardiovascular. It's great. When you're skipping, it's fun for everyone, even children. You can see our little friend there, Ruth, having loads of fun. Okay, adults can participate in skipping, kids can have fun doing it. And what's the best result we're getting from skipping? You are getting the entire body working harmoniously to get the best results possible. I feel good. Talking about cardiovascular exercises. And just with a skipping rope, we can get so much done. Do you have a skipping rope? Please purchase one today. It's affordable and the benefits are enormous. Buy one for your family, buy also for your friends. So we can all be healthy, we can all be fit. Then let's talk about the very serious issue of cholera. Personal hygiene is key. Wash your hands regularly. Keep your surroundings clean. Clear the gutters around your home. Empty the waste bin regularly. Keep your cooking utensils clean. Keep them well. We can stay safe. We can stay well. It's a decision we can all make collectively, okay? It's been wonderful spending time with you on wellness and living. I'd love to do it again with you next week. My name is Thelma Obaza. For now, it's bye-bye.